Hey guys, this is Colin from Blackjack Apprenticeship, and today I'm going to be interviewing BJA member and friend Ultimate. Ultimate came to one of our boot camps several months ago. That was the first time I met him. He actually flew all the way from Europe to train and to play some blackjack. After the boot camp, he stuck around in the U.S. for a few months, beating up on casinos all up and down the West Coast and in Las Vegas. He actually did a really awesome, thorough write-up that was featured. It's on our blog and was our story of the week a while back, called My 300-Hour Card Counting Adventure in the U.S. You can check that out. It's worth reading, but I want to do a little deeper of a dive with him, and he was willing to come on the podcast with me here. So enjoy his story, and here we go. How are you doing?
Hi, Colin. Thanks for having me. Very good. Very good.
Good. Thanks for doing this. I wanted to get an opportunity to kind of let you share your story and just interview you a little bit and, find out how you kind of got into card counting and all that stuff. So let's just start with that. What actually made you first interested in card counting?
It's a good question. Maybe it all started with playing games and playing card games. In the first place, we already played card games, and I probably shouldn't say it, but we also played even for money in school. We had a room which was unofficially called the casino, actually.
Oh, that's funny.
But this was playing for cents and having some fun. And in general, I'm a number-driven guy, and so this combination, I think, somehow had to lead to blackjack in the end. Looking backwards, now a friend of mine actually, he was also liked casinos, and we thought about, okay, what can we play here, and he said, okay, let's play blackjack. Actually, I've learned there's a kind of strategy that kind of made sense to me, because there seemed to be a kind of optimal play. You got two cards and dealer got one card. Uh-huh. So what to do, and that made sense to me. And then after this, we played a little bit, but not very much. And then afterwards, I thought, let's analyze this. I mean, there must be a really best play or so. And then we thought about it together, and that was kind of the beginning, maybe to do some research and read some books, and so
What books did you read?
Oh, I think the first one was actually the first one that really made me more than interested is the world's greatest. What's it called? The world's
greatest blackjack book.
Blackjack book. Yeah, exactly.
By Arnold Snyder.
Right? No, it's by Humble, I think.
Oh, okay. No, I was getting it confused with another book. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a green cover, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So that made me, because there were some really nice stories, and it sounded like you really can win about it, and I was really interested, and after reading half of the book or so, I took a pack of cards and tried it, and and it felt nice, and so that was kind of the starting. That was just point.
You tried basic strategy.
Counting.
Oh, okay.
No, I tried counting just without knowing a perfectly placed strategy or anything. I just read the book, and just, part of the book was how to count.
So you jumped straight to that.
Values. Yeah, I just tried to count, and then it made sense to me, and was fun, and also not easy, difficult on the same side, and that it was interesting, and so I read some more books, and then I got more and more interesting, and learned it. Yeah, probably the right side. So I started with basic strategy, not to confuse anybody.
After you initially just started
trying
card counting, you stepped back.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes,
I think that's pretty common. card counting is the sexy part of beating blackjack. You know, that's the part that I think attracts us all to it. But you know, I'm glad you took the right step of going in order and learning basic strategy. So how else did you research things? Just you got some books from a bookstore or a library or?
No. I researched the internet and then I mostly ordered books. There was some weeks there came 2 or 3 books per week, and I just sucked them in and I read and was more interested. And then I joined forums on the internet, and I also joined blackjackapprenticeship.com, and yeah.
So if people can't tell, Ultimate is actually not American. Maybe you couldn't tell because his English is so good. But I remember getting an email or an inquiry through the website that you were interested in a boot camp, and we've had someone from Australia, we've had someone from London, England, and then you came over. I don't know if you want to say where, but over from Europe, and I never know what to expect with someone's game when they show up. You know, are they really going to know anything? But man, you showed up with a really, really strong game. Can you tell us a little bit about how you trained?
Sure. In the beginning, I had to train for myself. That's the first point. I made up some kind of spreadsheets in Excel, where kind of A4 spreadsheet, which on the left-hand side you've got the complete, let's say, basic strategy, and on the right-hand side an empty table. And if you fold the paper, you know, then you can fill it out and then flip the paper and have the solution. Then I had flashcards, because I learned basic strategy like step by step, like I think everybody. So having flashcards, later on flashcards with deviations. And there was actually an app I used very frequently. And that was quite interesting because this app actually had some mistakes in it. In the beginning, I was totally confused because I had different information from different books, and then this app for basic strategy. And but that was actually quite good. It's added to my to be sharp and to get to know the right answer, you know. So I had to research for certain place, then what's the correct play and what's the where maybe errors. So this app had, in the end, it had some errors in it, but
that's funny.
I got to know it, and so I still use then this app, knowing that there's maybe 1 or 2 mistakes in it. But this app was actually quite good because, you know, on the way, anywhere you're waiting for, you can learn. Yeah. And then my girlfriend trained me a little bit.
Okay.
When I knew basic strategy, and maybe even then later on with accounting, and still today she's sometimes dealing for me, and quite critically when I make mistakes. That's quite good. So
did you ever try the training drills,
yes,
Blackjack apprenticeship ones?
Yes, I also try these exactly. I used the tools you are offering, and also your app for later on, including counting then.
I was just curious. I didn't have software to train with, so I did exactly what you said. I made flashcards for basic strategy. I think for basic strategy, but maybe not. It might have just been deviations. I remember.
For me too. So for me, it was just deviations. The flashcards were just for deviations.
Okay. Yeah. And then I'd take the easy ones out. You know, like I knew 16 against a 10 was 0, and so I take the easy ones out and then just keep drilling the ones that I was getting hung up on.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, a little pro tip.
Yeah. And then later on, there was also some, the CVBJ I used
Yeah.
for then playing more. Since I felt, okay, my girlfriend is dealing for me, but that's not enough to
She
get
might
really
not
drawn
know.
into it.
She might not know if you're making a mistake, which is always it.
That's also an issue. That's true. But then it's not enough. It's not enough time you can we could spend together with it. So I just took the CBBJ software and trained with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So you trained. How long do you think you trained for?
Yeah, difficult. I mean, I had a full-time job. I got interested in that, and I think in total about a year and something. So
wow.
Between maybe a year or so, roughly. Yeah.
Man, that's dedication. So how much time did you put into it a week?
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, it's that I think varied between 0 because I simply didn't have time.
Yeah.
I had to work too much, and maybe I don't know an hour per day, something like this, or maybe 5 hours at the weekend or so, or.
So you just plugged away.
Or maybe 10, maybe 10, something between 0 and 10 hours or so, maybe.
Okay, so you just plugged away, over the course of a year or so on the side while working full time and having a girlfriend and probably other things going on. But then you reached a point where was it the just the boot camp being scheduled that made you decide to kind of finish up or get to a point of being perfect? Or was it the job?
Well, I think the reason for getting perfect is some kind of inherent reason, because I like to do things. If I do things, I like to do them good, and that was always the case with my job, and that was in this case was the same. And I got so interested after some time, and I wanted to do this perfectly, and then. Without knowing what happens after when I really sit down in a casino, but so I didn't want to lose money. That's what I knew, and so I wanted to do it very good before sitting down. Yeah.
So I guess the reason I ask is I imagine there are people out there that they want to learn, but they're in the situation you were in, which is they've got a full-time job and life's busy and there's things and there's no there's no gun to their head, or there's no deadline to actually kind of get to perfect. So I'm wondering, was there something that you said, okay, I want to get there by this date, or did you just you just reached a point where you put in the time that you could and then you got to perfect eventually and decided to move on?
Yeah, that was kind of coincidental, I have to say, because I tried so long and I trained so long, and the other things were going on parallel, and then I came to a private decision that I had to kind of do a change in my profession, change in my job, and so the point in time to get kind of perfect with Blackjack, and then doing something else with my normal job that was kind of coincidental. So and then I read about the boot camp and experiences other guys have made there, and they all liked it seemed, and so I know how to work with pros and in general, and so in my job, people were kind of hiring me for the knowledge I have. So I thought it's definitely a good idea to listen to you pros, and so that was kind of all was coincidental at the same point in time, kind of. So I quit my job and then got perfect with Blackjack, and then the boot camp came up. So
okay, so let's talk about this trip, because you're coming. for a lot of people in the U.S. Getting to, Las Vegas, the mecca of blackjack, is a couple $100, several few hour flight. But for you, it was a much bigger decision. So let's talk about how you came up with the idea for the trip and planned for it.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was pretty clear at some point in time when I thought, okay, I want to get perfect now, but I don't want to do this all now for just to throw it away. So I wanted to really do it and then play and then see what happens, and hopefully make some money with it.
Uh-huh.
We'd been to Vegas before, and I played low stakes, and it at the end of the holiday, I played about, I think, 50 hours or so, and it ended up with EV, which was a good sign for me. I knew that variance is, you cannot catch variance with 50 hours, of course, but I just wanted to get a feeling, and I got a feeling and bought myself how I feel at the table and so on, and it all went well. So then we flew home, and I thought, okay, let's go for it. And then I tried it with my real bankroll, so to say, in a place in Europe, and that also went very good.
Wow.
And then when the idea came up with doing something else and quitting my job, then it was pretty clear that what had to happen, because if you want to play blackjack, you have to go to the US sometimes. It was pretty clear. And I wanted to visit the boot camp anyway, so I tried to make a kind of planned a holiday blackjack trip in the US.
Awesome. So I want to back up a little bit. This is really interesting to me. I didn't know that you and your girlfriend had been to Vegas before. But how long was that before this larger trip?
About a year.
Okay. So and you felt confident enough in your game that you were able to play kind of some low stakes card counting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you, just for people that maybe don't understand what you said, obviously, but it might not be obvious to everyone. You said that you reached EV, which means after 50 hours, you had won about the amount that you were expected to win with perfect card counting. And you said, obviously, you can't catch EV or reach EV in 50 hours. So you knew enough about the math to know, 50 hours, you could be up, you could be down.
Yes.
But if you keep playing, you're going to win over enough time. But the fact that you had won about what you were expected to, it just helped kind of build your confidence. Okay, I can do this.
Exactly.
This'll, and then you played a bit in Europe also. I didn't know that before the boot camp.
Yeah.
That makes sense, because you showed up with a very strong game. But I didn't realize the amount of kind of even practice casino time you had before that.
It's not too much, but it wasn't too much at that time. But I had this trip in Vegas before, which was our holiday, and but then I took the chance and play, as I said, and then afterwards, some weeks or months later, I trained on and try to eliminate the errors I made, then I tried to go for my real bankroll. I made my thoughts about my real bankroll. What kind of bankroll do I want to set up? What kind of risk and so on. And I tried this, in another place in Europe, and that went pretty well. And that gave me more confidence to maybe make the decision to do this trip to the US.
So what would you have done if it would have gone poorly in Europe? Do you think you maybe would have gotten scared of the whole thing?
That's a good question. You never know this. I don't know, actually. I don't think so. I think, as I said, I'm a number-driven guy, and I actually know what can happen, but if it happens, if these bad things happen in the beginning when you really started, then you never know what if you still have enough guts to try the big one, to try the big game. I don't know.
So this is a little bit of a tangent, but I'm dealing with this right now with two guys that were at the last boot camp, the one we did in February, and they're actually the two guys that did the best. Like on the second day of the boot camp, we do one-on-one evaluations, and these two guys had the strongest games. And one of them that Ultimate, you actually know him. He's at least last I talked to him 5 days ago, and he was over one standard deviation above EV. So what that means for non-math people is that he's won more than what basically less than a third of people would have gotten as lucky as he's gotten, lucky so to speak, because he should have won, but he's won even more than he should have won. Well, this other guy that also did very, very well at the boot camp, about a week ago, he was a standard deviation below EV, which means I don't know how many hours he had played, but maybe 50 hours, and he was down maybe 20% of his bankroll, which is it's great. He has the other 80% of his bankroll, but he was kind of freaking out, the guy who is winning is thinking like, oh, this is great. The guy who's losing is asking me, is there something wrong with my game that I'm not aware of? And I said, well, if you're playing in the casino the way you did at the boot camp, you're fine. And since then, he's actually won back quite I don't want to say all, but he sent me an email a couple days ago. He's won back most of what he was down. But anyway, it's just important for people to understand that, it's great if you start winning right away with card counting, but, part of the math is that you don't always win. And so that's why I asked you the question. I'm glad that you won both in Vegas, a year before, and in Europe before kind of testing out at a boot camp. But it's you gotta, like you said, trust the math, even if you're not winning in the short term. Indeed.
And I'm pretty happy that I not only know that it happens, but I think it's in general also a good experience to have the feeling of the feeling that you can lose. I don't want to say it's good to lose, but I really know that it can happen, and how much you can lose in what kind of time frame, in some certain time frame, I experienced both. So it's part of the game.
Yeah. It made me think of a professional baseball player that a really good baseball player actually gets out 2/3 of the time. And if, you just have to have that confidence to keep going up to bat, even if you've, have a confidence if you have, in that example, if you're a quality baseball player. But in the card counting world, if your game is perfect, you just trust the math, even if you've lost the last 2, 3, 5, 10 sessions in a row, which can be difficult, especially in the early stages. But well, let's get back on track. You didn't have those problems, which is convenient. But I had one other question about before the trip, which is, did your friends or did your girlfriend think you were kind of crazy for doing this?
So my girlfriend, absolutely not. She was kind of no, it was really, she liked it, and she was, she also actually learned basic strategy. And at some point in time I thought that maybe we could go together or so, but then she kept losing a bit because maybe she was not that dedicated to it like I am, and but it was still good to have her as a partner to deal with, and so that she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So absolutely not. My friends, they find it a little bit strange, but interesting.
and I'm assuming because you're a math guy, you're a sharp, calculated person, that maybe there weren't all sorts of red flags around you in general, that maybe people trusted, your friends trusted your character, or trusted your instincts well enough that this wasn't going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's true. It's not didn't lead to any personal issues or so.
Yeah.
No, by no means. But they of course the usual questions come up, like is that legal, and but if it's legal, do the casino do you doing that? But I mean, we just I had to explain a little bit that I'm completely confident about it, and I know what I'm doing, and I've got even statistical software around this, and so that you have to kind of build up some confidence with your friends, maybe. More topic. Yeah.
So in the end, they were on board, or they were supportive.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome.
And if not before, then after the trip.
Awesome. So let's talk about the trip. How long did you come to the U.S.?
Oh, it was about 3 months.
3 months.
So the kind of normal tourist time. I think it's 90 days you can spend in the U.S. without any additional visa.
Okay. So you were capped. I guess I didn't think about that. You had a 90-day max for the trip. And you came, how long did you get to the U.S. before the boot camp?
It was about 10 days or so, 10 days before boot camp started, yeah.
And how much did you play in those first 10 days?
That's a good question. I don't know, maybe 3 hours a day or so.
Okay, yeah. So awesome. And was that at a smaller stake, or was that using your full bankroll?
Actually, it was using the full bankroll.
Awesome. So you had confidence in your game.
I had confidence, but it was actually quite good that we had the boot camp so early in my. But that was actually planned on purpose. So I wanted to have the boot camp, so to make sure that it's really good enough, the game. And if there should be any serious things, that you can point this to me, and so I wouldn't have done it the other way around. I wouldn't have played and then do the boot camp in the end. That wouldn't have made any sense to me.
Okay, so you showed up, you got adjusted to the time difference, all that stuff, got about...
Yeah, exactly. That took some time, yeah.
You got maybe 30 or 40 hours under your belt playing in the U.S., did the boot camp, got your game evaluated, which I remember it was very strong. Maybe there was one deviation thing that I questioned, but in general, got your game evaluated and saw that you were good to go. And then what happened from there?
Oh, with lots of things. First, I think I left Vegas for some pretty quickly, and so I have to say that it was not a pure blackjack trip, but it was kind of, as I said before, a holiday blackjack mixture, and so I had some major points of interest where I wanted to go, and but otherwise I didn't plan anything before, so I just headed north, and I wanted to go north to the Yellowstone Park. That was one of the major places I wanted to go, and then I headed north to nearly the Canadian border, and then drove over to Washington State and then Seattle, and then roughly I went down the coast southwards, nearly to the Mexican border, so all the way down, and then spent some time in San Diego area, and then in the end went back to Vegas for New Year's Eve, and then afterwards. It was little time left, and then I went home. So that was the rough.
So that's 3 months. That was
exactly.
So what were your goals for the trip? You know, obviously you had to plan this out ahead of time and think through. I think that's great that it wasn't just a blackjack trip. That would be a bummer to have a 90-day trip and have a rental car and be going all around the Western United States and to not get to see some of that stuff. But what were your goals? Financial, sightseeing? What did you want to accomplish?
Oh, definitely sightseeing. So I wanted to see Yellowstone, as I said before. I wanted to go to Lake Tahoe. I wanted to see Joshua Tree National Park and Sequoia National Park. That were the
redwoods.
Main things. The redwoods, actually, I didn't know that they are where they are. That was quite funny because I came from the north. I went down to southwards to California, and then all of a sudden, as I was in the middle of the redwoods. That was quite surprising for me, and the better it was because they're so amazing. Yeah.
It's
exactly. So
it's pretty cool driving through just these massive trees that have been there for thousands of years.
Exactly. At one of these sequoia trees, not the redwoods, but the sequoia trees, I stood before it, and just if you stand a minute in front of one of these trees, it seems so long, this minute. And then you think about this guy stands here for a couple of thousand years.
Yeah.
That's
trippy.
It was just amazing for me.
Yeah. Awesome. So did you have any financial goals for the trip?
My goal hour-wise was to play about 300 hours, which was quite optimistic, but I wanted to have this goal in order to play enough, and the financial goal was more or less simply the expected value times playing hours.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And did you accomplish your goals?
Yes, indeed, I did. It was pretty amazing because you just mentioned that some of the other guys is ahead of EV. So I was in the middle of the trip. I was in this situation as well. I was ahead of not only ahead of EV, but ahead of EV plus 1 standard deviation. And unfortunately, then there was a losing streak, and in the end, I ended up with nearly EV.
Yeah.
So 98% of my estimated EV, and that was, I was very, very happy with this.
When you're ahead of EV, it feels like, unfortunately, I ended up at EV. But from the goal before you set out, to end up at EV, you were within a couple percentage points of EV at the end, right?
Yeah, it's about 98% of EV. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It was really amazing because I knew it's difficult, and in the beginning I was definitely not that good as in the end because I learned a lot on the way. personally and blackjack wise.
Uh-huh.
And so ending up with paying off the whole trip and even more was pretty amazing for me.
Yeah, you paid for the trip several times over, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what would you say was the toughest part of your trip?
I would divide it between maybe mentally wise and physically wise.
Uh-huh.
So mentally wise was definitely the losing streak I had in between. Because up to that point, I either lost and won and lost and won and lost and won, and also always won a little bit more. I was on EV. Then in the middle of the trip, there was this incredible winning streak.
Yeah.
So, and if these things happen, you think that's okay. That's how it's supposed to work. But then, if you're losing, this is mentally wise. You can read about it, and you can. Read it over and you can know that it happens. And I really knew because I brought over some kind of substantial part of my bankroll because I just calculated it.
Yeah.
But really losing this or a large part of this is another story.
Yes. It's all great when it's theoretical, when we're figuring it out with spreadsheets. But man, when you're in the middle of it, it feels like this isn't how it's supposed to work. Which you never feel that way when you're winning. You're winning too much. It's like, oh, this is nice. When you're losing, it's like, hey, this doesn't feel right. Something's wrong here.
Yeah.
But you kept putting in the hours and it all worked out. So you said that was the mental part. What about the physical part?
Yeah. The physical part was maybe, for example, just an example, playing long hours in the casino and then having a kind of early checkout time in the hotel or motel or whatever, and get out and then move on to the next place, which is maybe 6-hour drive away.
Wow.
And then sit down at a table. Just maybe you've got the intention of playing an hour or looked out the place at first to go there next day, and then you find out that it's great and you have to play.
Yeah.
So get in maybe 5 or 6 hours at the table again. There were some physically really interesting experiences because sometimes when I drove, I had to just pull out and lean back and sleep in my car. Because just simply couldn't go on.
Yeah.
And so it was partly because I mixed up the blackjack with the holiday trip, with the vacation. So maybe if I had just the professional blackjack trip in mind, then would have just stayed. And but I wanted to see different things and as we talked about before, and so I just decided sometimes to move on. And then maybe sometimes you're allowed to play in casinos unexpectedly, and if this happens, then you have to, just maybe 4 hours sleep or so, and then move on and drive for 6 hours, and that was kind of physically challenging sometimes.
And you had a little bit of correct me if I'm wrong, you had a little bit of a time crunch because of winter, right? Some of the places you wanted to see, of getting there before the weather was too bad, or was that not an issue?
That was an issue at one point in time. Actually, there was I wanted to go to Lake Tahoe. That was one of my sightseeing spots I wanted to go, and on the way I played in a casino. That was one of the cases actually where was allowed to play a single deck game for very long hours, and then at one point in time, dealer said, "Okay, where do you want to go? What are you doing?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to go," because I wanted to leave anyway. I'm going to go to Lake Tahoe now. And she said, "No, you won't go to Lake Tahoe." I said, "Well, wow, why not?" And she said, "Like, there's a snowstorm coming up. You can't go there. You won't arrive there tonight." I said, "Oh my gosh, I have to go. I have to leave immediately." So I left immediately, and but then the storm actually came, and I had to drive on the highway like with don't know, like say 30 to 40 miles per hour. Or more like 30, and I finally arrived in my motel at 4:00 in the night or so.
Wow,
that was one of the physical challenging parts.
I want to talk about that a little bit. There's a couple extremes that I feel like I've seen, and we teach a lot about really calculating your EV or your costs, because there are card counters that their expenses outweigh the EV that they're going to be making, whether that expense is tipping or whether it's, just spending too much money on this, that, or the other. But there's another extreme, and I've been a part of it, that I see in professionals, which is kind of like a fear to spend any money, because it's going to eat into your bankroll or eat into your EV. And some of the crazy stuff, we would go to Eastern Washington. It was about maybe a 6 hour drive. And we would leave at like 7 a.m, and we'd get there in the early afternoon, and we would play for like 14 or 16 hours. We'd play for like 8 hours, go get some cheap dinner somewhere, go back and play until, 3 a.m, and then drive straight back. And it would basically be a 24-hour trip with, no sleep. And I remember one time, this is 4 of us driving. We took my car, and the guy who was driving started nodding off while driving. I had to bump his seat. I was sitting right behind him. He was driving, and like he was starting to hit the rumble strip on the side of the road because he was so tired. And I'm thinking, we've got like $80,000 and we don't want to spend, $50 a piece for a hotel room, to get some sleep. It was just a little bit extreme on the saving money part. But I also understand, wanting to keep expenses low, because you had a rental car for the whole trip. You had your flight, but I guess you had other motivation too, which is just to get to the next place. But I guess my point is, if you're listening, if you're a professional, don't be terrified to spend some money, whether it's to get a good night's sleep, or whether it's to eat a little bit healthier, or even just to unwind. Don't be afraid to spend. If you're making $100 an hour, $200 an hour of EV, it's okay to spend. Every once in a while, spend a little bit of money on yourself. Your bankroll will be fine, and maybe you'll enjoy this job a little bit more.
That's actually, you mentioned the rental car, for example. That was one of the points where I was severely thinking about, or severely struggling with, since if you've got a rental car for a couple of months, then this really costs you money. And at first I thought, when I was planning this trip, well, I would in Vegas, I would take the bus and maybe just have a car for a couple of days or whatever. But I pretty quickly saw that being flexible and going from one place to another quite quickly. And even if then the more than when the distances increase, then it's even more important. So that gave me in total, I guess, more playing hours and more sleeping hours. So that
it was worth the expense.
Yes, it was worth it in the end.
Good. So I want to know how you felt after those 300 hours of blackjack compared to before? Like, how did you feel about your game, and how did you feel even mentally?
Yeah, mentally it was great. It was I more or less reached the 300 hours that I planned before, and I reached more or less my EV. So this felt really, really great. Though I have to say that in the last third of my trip, more or less the last third of my trip, I made a 0 result.
Uh-huh.
This is also, something that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, the total. When I look at my total graph, and I always, updated this quite quickly after the sessions, and then looking at this gave me always some kind of confidence. So I felt pretty good with this, and blackjack wise, I think I was much better after the trip than before.
Yeah.
Because and actually part of due to the boot camp, because I think the boot camp showed me that I have to be even more sharp and more precise, and that really helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering is, I remember when I started playing, and I mean, I probably wasn't perfect. Well, actually, I know I wasn't perfect when I started playing, but I remember going into a casino maybe a month later, and I was playing about 30 hours a week when I started. And so maybe I'd played 100, 150 hours. And I remember a pit boss saying, "Wow, Colin, you're a lot more comfortable than you were." And she didn't know I was playing cards, but I mean, I was just so nervous and awkward in a casino, and just the amount of like how much my game had improved, how much my confidence had improved, how much more comfortable I was with the entire environment. I was just wondering for you with at the end of this trip, you must have just felt like much more like a professional than at the beginning.
Yes, definitely. So I would say after 2/3 of the trip or something like this, I really felt like a professional because I was also doing this driving from place to place. Though not only blackjack determined, but also traveling, just sightseeing, traveling and seeing some stuff of America's nature wise. So it was. I felt much more confident than before.
Good, that's awesome.
That's very good. Yeah.
So, any unexpected outcomes or experiences from the trip?
And any loss was unexpected, actually. So, no. Maybe some not so nice backoffs or trespasses. Because if you experience these things for the first time, then it's kind of new and maybe not unexpected, because it's unexpected because you don't know it. So, but getting trespassed without letting me go to the restroom, I didn't like this one.
Yeah.
So and being flyered was something, or whatever it's called. That was also something unexpected.
And where did that happen? Was that in Vegas?
No.
Okay. No. Somewhere else. Okay.
Actually, I'm quite not sure, but I think it was. I don't remember exactly what it was. So I just laid money on the table, and Northern California it was. No.
Okay.
Laid money on the table, and dealer started to count it, and then the pit boss came over, pushed back the money, and said, "No, we're not interested in your action. Thank you." Mm-hmm. It was quite interesting. And some long playing hours where I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because sometimes you're not expecting anything and you get it all, and sometimes the other way around. So what I learned pretty quickly actually is you never know the situation until you sit down and see it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know if I've thought about it this way before, but card counting, it's these two extremes. One extreme is it's incredibly certain. Like the math will work out, but it's not certain in the short term. It's only certain in the long term. But it's kind of the same with getting in hours. There's no certainty. You don't know if you're going to get backed off when you buy in, or if you're going to be able to play for weeks straight at the same casino. So there's a lot of uncertainty. Even a back off. You don't know if it's going to be a, hey, Ultimate, your game's too good for us. You're welcome to play every other game in the casino, but no more blackjack. Or if it's going to be, we have a right to trespass or to arrest you if you come back on our property. There's just so much uncertainty in the short term. How do you feel that these, hundreds of hours that you kind of have a better ability to be emotionally prepared for that stuff moving forward?
Yeah, very good. Since I have experienced both extremes, so to say, being way up and then losing a lot again, and losing not only in a couple of sessions very much, but then also losing lots of sessions. So the frequency of losing sessions at some point in time was not very nice, because and that's also mentally challenging, I think, because if you sit down and lose the session and then go change places and lose and you keep losing, maybe not much, but you're still always losing, and that's also something that prepares for the future. So if I'm losing now, if I'm going to the table and then I'm losing, that's totally fine. I know what should have happened, but if there's nothing extraordinary, then that's pretty fine. It can happen, and it can happen twice and 3 times and so on. But I'm better prepared than before, definitely.
That's interesting. The psychology behind this stuff is actually pretty fascinating, which is that our limbic system, which is kind of like our experience memory, is a lot more powerful than the other part of our brain that's more the cognitive, that's where you can think through, I'm going to lose, 40% of the time, 45% of the time. But when it actually happens, it's like, wait, what's happening? But when you actually experience it and overcome it, when you have losing streaks, but you battle through it, then you didn't just tell yourself it could happen, you experienced it. And it's much more powerful. So, maybe that can be an encouragement to people that are training, or they're early in their blackjack careers, or early getting into card counting is you really just have to commit yourself to what your brain says is going to happen, which is you're going to have to get perfect, and if you do, you'll win and you'll lose. But then just have a confidence that you just need to experience this stuff. You need to have those winning streaks, have those losing streaks, and when it happens, when you've been through that, you'll have a lot more kind of confidence and ability to it's going to be less intimidating the second time you get backed off than the first, and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, being backed off was not an issue for me personally. Losing was mentally more challenging for me. But that's different with everybody. I mean, there might be people kind of starting and then they have a losing streak and they feel, okay, that can happen and just go on. So some people do have problems with being backed off. Some people have problems or issues with losing, or maybe a combination or whatever. if you like you say, if you've experienced this, and for me it was actually personally very helpful to have experienced some losses, so to be even more confident and more sharp maybe than before.
And was it helpful to have people to talk to about all this stuff?
Oh, definitely. Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, no, definitely. I talked to some guys and wrote emails, and also talking to my girlfriend helped me a lot. She reminded me of my bankroll, for example, I took with me, and she asked, "Why did you take this with you?" And I said, "Yeah, because it can happen. I can lose a lot." Yeah, and then so she was very helpful with this to keep going.
Awesome. So, if you had it to do over, is there anything about your trip that you would do differently?
Maybe I should have done this 20 years earlier. No, actually, I don't think so, really, because even if I've done, wouldn't have been possible 20 years earlier because I wouldn't have had the bankroll. That's totally fine as it went. I think I loved to see all these different places, various different places. From the Canadian border to the Mexican border, there's really huge differences. Partly,
yeah.
I loved the trip, and maybe in some specific casinos I would behave differently or whatever, or play a little bit differently or whatever. But this is it's not a big thing I would change in total, I think.
That's awesome. So, is there any favorite story or highlight from your trip? Either favorite place that you saw, or any story from the tables that sticks out to you?
There are a couple. Maybe maybe I give one story. So I went on the highway again, and then I saw an advertising for Blackjack, which I found a little bit strange because I didn't expect any casino offering Blackjack in that area. And I pulled out and went into the casino, and I thought, it's probably Spanish. And then it turned out that it was Spanish 21. And I said, okay. Wanted to have a break anyway, that's fine. And the dealer was just shuffling, and I just asked, was curious, is it Spanish like with the tens removed, and how many decks is that? Yeah, it's 4 decks, okay. And she the pit boss, she wanted me to play, and I said, no, thank you, let's have a look at it. Maybe I just have a look how the other guys play. And then I started, I don't know why, but I started counting with minus 16. So 4 decks, tens are missing.
Oh, okay, it was a 4 deck.
4 deck, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I thought, okay, let's start counting with minus 16. It will take 2 minutes and we'll go. But you don't believe it. The count rises and rises, increase, and actually, it went positive, and I started fumbling for money. And in the end, I had 3 or 4 rounds of Spanish because the count was just calling for it.
How did you do?
I made a couple of $100.
So you're up in your career for Spanish 21.
Yes,
way above EV.
Yes, indeed.
That's funny. So for people that don't know, Spanish 21 is a variation of Blackjack, but they've removed the 10s. So it still has jacks, queens, kings, aces, 2 through 9, but there's no 10s. And the game actually can be beaten. Usually you need either for them to allow double down, which would be like, let's say you have a 9 against a 6 and you double down and then you get a 2. So now you have an 11 against a 6. They'll let you double down again. That rule variation makes it beatable. The other is if it's a stand 17 game, which I think exists on the East Coast. But there's a whole other strategy for it. But sounds like you kind of just for the heck of it. It's funny that the highlight of your trip was kind of gambling at Spanish 21. But
well, it was one highlight, but I really liked it because I don't know why. I mean, why did I start counting with minus 16? That doesn't make sense at all. But I did, and yeah.
That actually, I think, is how you do it. You know, I think you do start at, so if it's a 6 deck, you start at a running negative 24. And if you get to a 0, actually, I think you have the edge if it has the right rules and if you've memorized all the charts and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
And what about just sightseeing? What was the highlight?
Yellowstone National Park was the highlight because it actually closes at I think beginning of mid of November or something, and I went in the park taking the opportunity of the last I think 4 or 5 days, and I had fantastic weather, perfect weather, and very, very few people in there, so it was kind of empty parking slots where usually there are loads of buses. So it was just pure nature and not overcrowded, not too crowded, and I simply loved this place. So I stayed there for I think 5 days or so.
That's awesome. My wife and I, when she was pregnant with our first kid, we flew from the West Coast where we live to the East Coast and got a one-way rental car. So we got a one-way flight and a one-way rental car.
Nice.
And
nice.
I think I took about 40,000 with me, with a goal of just kind of scoping out some places that our team, this is when we were running the church team, and scope out some places we'd never been. But and it was a lot of fun, and I won a little bit of money, which was nice. I think maybe about 18,000 on the trip, which was always better than losing. But we stayed in Yellowstone. We camped there, I think for close to a week, and that was definitely a highlight. It's just so breathtaking, so overwhelming. Yes. The size, and then the bison just walking right up to your cars or right by you. I'm glad you got to experience that. Yeah. So here's my last question. We probably should wrap it up pretty quickly here, and I'm very thankful that you were willing to do this. Not a lot of card counters would be as kind as to sharing your story, and everybody gets to learn from it. But what kind of parting advice would you give to other card counters?
So I would say maybe two things. The first one is to make sure you have got a winning game, and then if you're sure, keep going, keep playing. If you can allow to, if you can afford to, do not kind of let the casino, let the game bring you down. This sounds easier than it is, but be bold and if you sit down, you've got the advantage, and take advantage, take the advantage. Keep going. That's what I had to tell myself lots of times, especially when you've lost sometimes.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what I heard, there's two parts to what you said. The first is, don't just settle for thinking you're perfect. Really make sure, keep working on that. And what I tell people is, a 98% card counter is probably going to get as many backoffs as 100% card counter. And you're only hurting yourself. You're only you're keeping yourself from getting 100% of the money. And so why settle for anything less than perfect? But then the second part of your answer is, okay, so you're there. just keep putting the hours in. Like don't let losses or casinos, anything, scare you off. And
Yes.
I feel like what I have seen over the years is that the money goes to the fearless, the people that don't let the casinos intimidate them, don't let the losses discourage them. The fearless card counters are the ones that end up with the most money. So I appreciate that advice. Yeah. Anything else you want to leave us with?
Maybe if you got any questions in between, if you're training, learning, or just have started or whatever, if you have questions, make sure you get them clarified, and don't lead these open questions. Maybe lead to 99 or, as you said, 98% game. So there are lots of guys who know what's going on outside. For example, you, Colin. So if anything is on any member from BJA, make sure you get these questions clarified before you sit down and place your money on the table without knowing 100% what you're doing.
That's great. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, I've seen some funny things over the years of conclusions people come to on their own that are not correct. So really having all the information is important. I hate to see people have one thing wrong that we would have been happy to answer for them. And it's keeping them from actually, taking the casino's money. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I'm excited to keep in touch and hear how things go as you continue your card counting career. And I hope you make it back to the U.S. before too long and get to see you in person again. But thanks for sharing your story. And for those who want to read a little bit more about Ultimate's story, he actually did a write-up, and it's on Blackjack Apprenticeship on the blog. And, there's a cool discussion going on the forum of follow-up questions and all that stuff with Ultimate. So that's it. And if you want to find out more, if you want to learn more about card counting, visit blackjackapprenticeship.com. Check out the video course, training drills, the members forum, blah, 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 all that stuff. And, like Ultimate said, take it seriously, master the game, take the casino's money. Thanks.
Thank you.